What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. And in today's video, I'm going to give you five tips that when I first got here really helped me stress less, I guess you could say, in Cambodia. You know, when you first move here, it's a different culture, they got a different language, a different way of doing things, and sometimes that causes people to stress a little bit. And if you come here, I want your life to be as stress-free as possible. So I'm going to give you 5 ways you can do that. But first I want to let you know that if you want to help support the channel, your help is always needed and appreciated. That I will send you things in return. I have links down below for PayPal, Ko-Fi.com, or you can join my Patreon. And if you do any of those things, if you send a donation one way or the other, I will send you, if you leave me your email address, I will send you copies of my books, Live in Cambodia, a guide for living in the Kingdom of Wonder. And if you want, I'll even send you a book of my short horror stories called The Things That Happen at Night. And you'll receive all my weekly exclusive supporter-only content. That includes stories, that includes videos, and I'm working on things right now, trying to make that experience even better. So if you want to get in on that, just check out the links down below and donate today. And also, to hit our goal of $350 this month, we just need another 50 bucks. So if you want to help that along, you know where the links are. I also have another YouTube channel. We're waiting for this car, by the way. That's why we stopped. I also have another YouTube channel called Horror Reads. What I do is I review and discuss the horror books I've read recently. I upload there every 2 or 3 days. And if you're into horror books, might be a channel you want to check out. So that link is down below. Check out a couple videos if you like it. Go ahead and subscribe to that as well. And if not, no big deal. It's not everybody's thing. I understand that. All right, let's get on with the video. All right, so as I said, when you first move to a new country, not just Cambodia, but I think any country, you know, it can be a stressful situation, whether you're coming here to work or retire. There's a whole lot of things, especially if you've never even been to this part of the world before. There are things that might confuse you, might cause you some stress, things of that nature. And I was the same way. I've been here 4.5 years, but I remember my very first few weeks. I was filled with uncertainty, a little bit of trepidation, not knowing if I was making some kind of a cultural error that would make everybody point and mock me from here on out, you know. So I thought I'd share with you these tips that I've learned that hopefully might help you. A lot of these are going to depend on, of course, on your personality and things like that, but for the most part, I think they'll help you when you move here be a little less stressed out. And the first one is, I know a lot of people don't like to bargain or negotiate for their goods and services. I understand. This is a very poor country, and a lot of people come over here thinking, maybe I'll pay a little more at the markets because I'm helping out the locals, and I don't want to try to haggle the price down, and I understand that. And like I said, that all depends on you if you're good with that. However, this country has always been about negotiating. If you go to any place that doesn't have a set price on the items, it's open for negotiation how much you want to pay. As a matter of fact, it's so expected, a lot of vendors set their prices higher knowing that it's inevitable. And once I stopped thinking, oh, they're just going to think I'm just another cheap Charlie over here, which admittedly I am, but you know, I'm very frugal. But once I stopped worrying about that and realized that there was absolutely no hard feelings when they said 8 and I said 5, they said no, how about 7, and I said 6, and we finally agreed. All of that wasn't good fun. Everybody left satisfied. I got what I wanted at a price lower than what they said, but they are never going to go below a price that they bought it for or lower. So they made money. I got a product I wanted for less than what they said. It was just a good, happy experience all around. It wasn't aggressive. These negotiations are not meant to be aggressive or in your face or anything like that. And after a few times, it just becomes something you do. And you can do that with tuk-tuks and pass apps and all these local markets, the prices. And you know, if it doesn't work, if they absolutely won't budge, you can go, some of these local markets, you know, you can go 3 stalls down, get the same thing for less money. So, you know, don't be afraid to negotiate, even if you don't want to. There's another reason for that, because if word starts getting around a particular area that, you know, you won't question the price on something that doesn't have a price tag, well, you know, they'll see you coming. They might raise their prices even more next time if they don't think that you're going to object to it. And you don't want to become a mark. So, yeah, like I said, negotiate everything that doesn't have a price tag. The second thing, when you're walking down the street here, especially in towns like Siem Reap and Phnom Penh, there are pass apps and tuk-tuks all over, and they will stop in the middle of heavy traffic if they see you walking as a foreigner. They'll block traffic just to ask you, hey, do you want a tuk-tuk? You want to ride? You want to ride? For some reason, this causes a lot of people to freak out all the time. They get angry about it. And it does happen frequently, especially downtown, where they're all lined up, and you'll go from one to the next, and they'll all give it a try. And at first that can be stressful, because you're walking by saying no, 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 no. But I found that I'll look them in the eye and just say, oh, no thank you. And then just keep walking, that's it. There's no other negotiation needed, and they realize that. Unless you want a ride, of course. And that happens sometimes. We're just walking, decide to grab a pass app, we'll wait for one to come down the road, laying it down, work out a price, and that's that. But all of these people and vendors in some of the markets who will be calling out to you, telling you to come over, they want to show you something, they want you to buy something, they want you to take their tuk-tuk. They're just there to make a buck, man, that's all. I don't know why people find it annoying. I respect the hustle. I understand they never know out of all the people that pass them every day who's going to say yes, so they don't want to miss an opportunity to make a little bit of money. But generally, my experience has been just looking at them politely and saying, oh, no thank you. That works. A lot of times they'll look at you and go, okay, thank you, sir, and go back laying down in their tuk-tuk playing on their phone. But they ain't gonna get it if they don't ask, and they realize that. So, you know, don't get stressed out when you see people calling you over and trying to get you to buy something. Remember, you can always say no. You're not under any obligation. Sometimes people stress out a little bit because of the apartment they grab when they first come here, the place they first decide to live. During the daytime, it was all nice and quiet, it looked really good. Then sometimes they go there at night and realize there are barking dogs all night keeping them up, or they will hear a nearby Wat chanting and ringing bells at 5 o'clock in the morning. Or if you live near a school, well, you can imagine what happens every morning near a school. and that causes them to stress out a little bit. But I don't think you're going to find a place like anywhere in town that's has zero nighttime interruptions all the time. We don't have a big issue with dogs out where we live now. Seriously, there's occasionally you'll hear a couple howling from the main street up there by us, but it's not enough to keep us awake or wake us up or anything. So what I've learned, and this I'll pass on to you, is that if before you get an apartment, before you put down the deposit, if you have the time, unless you desperately need a place to stay that day, go look at a few places during the day, check them out, pick the places you like, and then come back again at night. Come back again 5 or 6 o'clock, and then maybe even once again at maybe 11 o'clock. Take a tuk-tuk down there, check out the area, see what's going on. Are you surrounded by a lot of party people who are going to play loud music and invite all their friends over? You hear a lot of dogs barking? Or is it nice and quiet? I know people who have turned down really nice apartments, really good deals too, simply because they said when they went there at night, they noticed that all of a sudden there's a gang of stray dogs on the street, and they just raised a ruckus at any little thing that moves all night, and they knew they wouldn't be able to get any sleep, or to have their sleep interrupted. Trust me, it's better if you do that. Take an extra day to learn about all these areas, where you're finding the apartments you like, rather than just move into the first place that sounds good and then realize you made a mistake later. Because I hear that all the time. Oh man, this was a really good deal, but now I'm being woken up by, by the monks chanting every morning at a very loud volume. Yeah, when I got here, I got a guest house for 2 weeks. It was $100 for the 2 weeks, and they gave me time to find an apartment I wanted, and I didn't have to deal with any of all that noise, or have to worry about dogs at all times of the night, or rowdy neighbors or anything. So yeah, check it out real good before you get an apartment somewhere. Yep, and as you probably realize, Cambodia has a different currency. They still take US dollars, but they use a currency called the real. It's 4,000 real for every dollar. This, for some reason, causes a lot of people to stress out. They're always like, I gave you $10 and a $10 US bill. They give you back your money or I gave them a $10 USD bill, and they gave me back my change in real, and I don't know if they gave me back the right amount. Listen, count it before you leave. This is something Singlai does. This is something all the locals do. You'll see it everywhere. It's maybe back where you come from, it might be a sign of mistrust, like you think that person's trying to rip you off, and so you're sitting there counting it, giving them the eye, saying it all better be here. But that's not the case here. Mistakes happen. Sometimes the bills look a lot alike. There's just a zero that separates 1,000 from a 10,000, and that's the difference between 25 cents and $2.50. So yeah, you want to make sure you get it back right, and that the person giving you back your change didn't make a mistake. Mistakes do happen, and you can settle it right there on the spot, no problem. Just remember that it's 4,000 real to every dollar. So you gave her a $10 bill for something that cost $5, you're going to get back $20,000 or 20,000 real in change, which is $5. So just make sure it's all there. Learn a little bit about the money, handle it, get to know the difference. What I do when I get a lot of real is I separate it by denomination. So The lower denominations are on top for me, and then the higher denominations are on the bottom. I just don't put it all together and hope I grab the right one. That really helps me out. It only takes like a couple seconds to do, and that will help you knowing the money and being able to count it as, you know, while you're before you leave, while you're still waiting in line. It's preferable to either being shortchanged and then feeling bitter or upset about it later. So yeah, just take some time, get to know the bills, get to know the money. Arrange it the way you want so it's easy for you to understand, and then when you get it back, you'll know exactly what you're dealing with. And just like with everything else, Cambodia has their own traditions, they have their own culture. These used to worry me a lot, that I would say or do something that wasn't culturally acceptable, or I unintentionally might insult someone by saying the wrong thing or having the wrong response to a conversation. I find that for most of the time, really, it's the older people here that are more traditional. Like, the younger people still respect their traditions, they're aware of them, but more and more people realize, especially in the cities, that as a foreigner, you know, you might not be aware of some of those cultural faux pas you might make every now and again. And even though I'm sure I've made some, I've had people tell me I made some, but it was never a matter of them coming up, grabbing me by the shirt collar and going, "What do you think you're doing? You're disrespectful for," you know, "Stop it." You know, it wasn't anything like that. I've been gently informed before that I really shouldn't sit a certain way in the chair with my, you know, I cross my legs. I put one leg up on top of the other because it's a Buddhist country, and showing the bottom of your feet in an area or a position where other people can see them is a kind of an insult. Well, it's not really an insult. It's an insult if you do it intentionally, so I wasn't trying to insult anybody, but it's considered something you shouldn't do, I guess you can say. And there are little things like that that you'll learn, like going to the temples to dress in a conservative manner. And what I find that works there is, you're going to come over here, you're going to meet some amazing local, absolutely amazing people here, as always, as I've always said. And you can ask them. Trust me, it's better to ask first than to try to assume and then doing something that might be insulting or offending you know, their culture here or their traditions. If you're not sure, the best thing to do is just ask. You'll learn a lot about the country from doing that, and now you know. I'm sure everybody makes mistakes when they first come over. I mean, the only way to get to right is to admit you're wrong sometimes. Hey! But yeah, don't be afraid to ask. I mean, you can even look up things like what are some basic Buddhist traditions and things you shouldn't do in Buddhism. You know, even a quick Google search and you'll see a list of a few things. Some of them are obvious, but some things you might not be aware of, because back where you come from in the West, it might seem a little odd, or something you know, you're just not aware of. But like I said, it's always better to ask first. I mean, you can always apologize later, but depending on the offense and where this offense happened, yeah, it might leave a bad taste in someone's mouth, and we'd rather not have that. So there, I think if you follow all those tips, your life will be a little less stressful here when you first move. Like I said, I'm talking about these things because of my experience. Things I had to learn, things I had to go through. I'm just passing them along to you. So be sure to check out all my links down below. Like I said, if you want to help support the channel, it's very much appreciated. I love my supporters. And you can donate through PayPal or Ko-Fi.com, and I'll send you some stuff when you leave me your email address. Also down below are other channels vlogging from this part of the country. Be sure to check all those out. Very good videos, very good information coming from there. All my social media is down below, and of course my other channel, Horror Reads, if you want to subscribe or check that out as well. Alright, thank you guys for watching. Hit the like button if you liked it. Subscribe if you have not. And I will talk to you in the next one.